The third and final week of the Pittsburgh Steelers OTA practices are officially in the books. And with that being said, we have more news, notes, highlights, observations from another week here at practice. Now, in this video, I wanted to break down three really underrated players who have been standing out so far in camp, as well as overall what has been happening, who to look out for going into next week's mandatory minicamp. Now, before we jump into the video, I want to do what we always do and give a big shout out to, all of the Pittsburgh Steelers media team out there who, work so hard each and every single day, getting these highlights out for us and kind of enabling us to make these videos, right? Without them, these videos are not possible. So go follow them on Twitter right now. You're going to see their at the top left of your screen. And if you follow, you will get live in real time highlights from mandatory minicamp and training camp and whatnot. So make sure you guys go follow them on Twitter if you haven't already done so. And with that being said, let's kind of jump into the video. Now, I did want to start off with the three kind of low-key players that have been looking really good in camp. And again, this is according to a bunch of the media members and the coaching staff. I've put everything together and kind of, wanted to see some of the guys who've been really standing out. Now, the first guy that stands out in my eyes so far in OTAs is Roman Wilson. I mean, he is a guy that just looks really, really good off the bat, athletic, can go up and make big time catches, and has been building some really good chemistry with both of the quarterbacks in Justin Fields and Russell Wilson so far in camp. The Steelers are in search of that number 2 wide receiver for this team. Obviously, they've been in rumors, been in trade discussions, supposedly with a guy like Brandon Ayuk and maybe Michael Thomas can come here, but in reality, Roman Wilson looks like he could really be that guy. Also, Calvin Austin is another one of those guys. Now, when we go down the list and look at a couple more sleepers, one being Beanie Bishop. He's a slot corner. Now, this one is interesting in my eyes because he is a UDFA, looking really, really good so far in camp. However, the Steelers did just bring back Cameron Sutton, the former third-round pick of 2017, left for a season, went to Detroit, was looking to be on Detroit for another season there, but that then did get released due to some legal issues. But now he is back. He is here with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it looks like he will be the day one starter. Now, at the end of the day, I do expect Sutton to be the day one starter. However, just because that could be set in stone doesn't mean that Beanie Bishop won't actually make the 53-man roster. He is a guy that has been really impressive so far coming out of this OTA period. Now, I do want you guys to take everything with a grain of salt because there's no pads, no contact, but in terms of 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s, he's looked really good, and he's actually went against some of the best wide receivers on this team, including Roman Wilson, who we just talked about being that number 2 guy. Beanie Bishop went head-to-head with him and actually came away with some really big-time plays. He's got some really good, physicality. He can get to the quarterback out of the nickel spot, and also has just been proven to come up and be a big-time tackler as well. So a guy who is, not scared, has done a really good job just, fitting into the system and being a role player and, making his name known to the coaching staff. So watch out for Beanie Bishop. I don't think he'll be a day one starter, but a guy who can make the 53-man roster, yeah, that's Beanie Bishop. Now, before we get into the next guy here and what to expect going forward, make sure you guys do me a big favor. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, more importantly, but also turn on post notifications. We will be covering the Steelers throughout the entirety of the season, guys. And get this, it's free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe to the channel. And in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now, you guys are getting annoyed with how much I post about the Steelers and other teams. You guys can just unsubscribe. But for now, we're going to be covering the rest of training camp, preseason, regular season, breaking down all 22 coaches' film during the regular season as well. So make sure you guys check that out or subscribe if you're new, right? But with that being said, let's kind of get right back into the video. Now, according to multiple different media sources over in Pittsburgh, another guy who's been looking really good, underrated guy as well, is Nathan Meters or Metters. I don't really know exactly how to say his name, but he's been a guy that's been, breaking out. Stock is rising. However, he's in a weird spot, just like Beanie Bishop, where he's got a long way to go to work his way up the depth chart. Obviously, you have the Sean Elliott, you have Minka Fitzpatrick, You got DeMonte KZ and, Graylin Arnold, who they brought over as a nickel, but also could play a little bit of safety as well. We're seeing where he's going to fit in. But you also have Trenton Thompson. You have Miles Killebrew, Jalen Elliott. So there's a bunch of safeties on this team that they really actually like. I feel like Nathan Meters is a guy who has been standing out probably the most out of those, backup players. So I'm really excited to see what he can do. He spent some time in Minnesota, learned from some veterans like the Harrison Smiths of the world. So he has been, other places where, he's learned, right? He's soaked in some information. So I definitely want to see how he can continue, to develop as time goes on. I think he had a pick 6 in practice and some goal line drills. He's had, at least 5 pass breakups according to multiple media sources as well. So big credit goes out to him. And then also, let's talk about, some things that we really need to talk about here. One being the QB battle of Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Now, early on, it seems like Russell Wilson has far and away been that guy. But that's not to say that Justin Fields hasn't been good. He's actually been really, really good, and I feel like he's off to a really good start, right? So, obviously, I don't think he'll win the starting job over Russell Wilson, but Fields he's got a chip on his shoulder. Whenever you have a guy who is fighting for not only his job right now, but his career in the NFL. I mean, you talk about a guy, if he doesn't make it here in Pittsburgh, I know he's got an uphill battle, but you're talking about his next contract being maybe as a backup full time, and then from there you kind of have to take the Geno Smith route where you wait and you wait and you wait for your time to shine again. So I feel like Justin Fields is here for a reason. He's here to prove himself that he can be, a good quarterback, a starting quarterback in this league, and the competitive energy that brings alone is something that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been so, grateful having, right? You want that competition in the QB room. And another thing is, dude, you better bet that Justin Fields is going to do whatever it takes to shine in preseason, because if you shine in preseason, if you show other teams that, yeah, okay, I'm better than I was last year, I'm better each and every single year, I'm getting better and better as time goes on, then maybe you get traded for at the deadline and become a guy who is worth a good amount, right? Is a day one starter once you get traded to a new team, and then boom, just like that, you revitalize your career. So I think Justin Fields is going to do whatever it takes to impress people all around the league. So that's going to be fun to see as well. Guys, also, make sure you follow my Twitch. I'm going to be breaking down and live streaming some of these preseason games on Twitch. If you guys want to watch these games with me, make sure you guys follow my Twitch. Link in the description. It's Matty Dubs with 3 S's as well. But man, definitely excited to see what he can do this season. I mean, he's been learning, soaking up information from Russell Wilson. I expect him to have a pretty decent preseason and really try to, work and get better each and every single day. Another cornerback that's been good, Corey Trice, man. Corey Trice is that guy who so good, broke out last preseason and whatnot in training camp, and got injured, missed the season, but came back with the same type of pedigree. I mean, the dude's ready to go. The dude wants to prove himself to be a high quality player in this league, and I think he's doing a very good job so far. We talked a little bit about Calvin Austin. He's been really good. Cordell Patterson will be your kick returner. I mean, he is going to be nasty with this new kickoff rule, so I'm excited about that. Dez Fitzpatrick, another sleeper to look at going forward. He's been a wide receiver that's been, just making a lot of big-time catches, and when the ball's thrown his way, he doesn't really mess up, right? He's not going to be a guy who is going to take what he has for granted. He's going to come out here and compete every single day. So watch out for Dez Fitzpatrick, and so far, so good for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to have more news and notes about other positions over the next few days here during mandatory minicamp. So make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family.